What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and is ready to conquer the week that is. So, before we get this one started and talk about AEW All in Texas, I just want to say that last week I had the intention of uploading a series of vlogs, but then I realized the trailers had that I used for the vlogs had some sort of sound problem. But it's nothing that I can fix. It's something that YouTube is doing now. So I figured I'm going to re-upload some of the vlogs from last week, and we're going to take a look at some new trailers for Running Man, Project Hail Mary, and I'm going to also uh, re-upload my reaction to the Call of Duty teaser trailer. So look out for those. I mean, like I said, I intended to upload those last week, and I figured that I figured out that there's nothing that I can do to fix these sound problems on those trailers. I'd rather you guys have a visual than no edit at all, than just hear me talk about it. But yeah, so we're gonna upload those, and we're gonna just keep it moving. But as for today's vlog, man, AEW All in Texas. Uh, huge weekend of wrestling. This is probably the second biggest weekend of wrestling outside of WrestleMania. This doesn't happen every year, but this year just everything just happened to fall on the same weekend. Some WWE stuff, and then you of course had AEW All in Texas, which is the biggest show that AEW has ever done in the United States. I think something like 20,000 people showed up at Globe Life Field, which is the home of the Texas Rangers in Arlington, Texas. And it was a massive pay per view, man. 7 hours in total. I mean, you had a 2 hour, 0 hour, the pre show, and then you had the pay per view itself, which was about 5 hours. Yeah, so much to get to, so little time. So here we go, man. First up on the 0 hour, you had the Sons of Texas, which is Sammy Guevara, Dustin Rhodes, and then you had Marshall and Ross Von Erich, accompanied by Kevin Von Erich, the legendary Kevin Von Erich of the Von Erich family, going up against Shane Taylor Promotions. So that's Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Carly Bravo, and Captain Sean Dean in a huge 8-man tag match to kick off the festivities, man. And the Sons of Texas ended up picking up the win. You know, and it was a nice opener, nice way to get the crowd warmed up for what was about to come. And yeah, shout out to the Sons of Texas. Big night for Dustin Rhodes in particular. We'll get to him more later on. But yeah, and next up we had another 8-man tag team matchup. We had the conglomeration, which is Kyle O'Reilly, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hologram, took along with AJ, along with Big Boom Justice, took on the Costco guy, like double chocolate chip cookie, or however the shit goes. I don't even know. But anyway, yeah. So it was those four men against the Don Callis family, which consisted of Rocky Romero, Lance Archer, Hechicero, and Kenosuke Takeshita, man. And the Rizzler got involved. Oh man, it is just crazy. So yeah, and the team of the conglomeration and Big Boom AJ ended up picking up the win for their side of things. And the final match of the pre-show had FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler taking on the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd and Justice Magnum, man. So yeah, but the Outrunner, FTR ended up picking up the win to silence the Outrunners. They've had a bit of a feud going into this, and FTR ended up picking up the win. Cool pre-show. And then, of course, now we have the main card kicking off with the AEW Trios Championships on the line, as the Death Riders, consisting of Claudio Castagnoli, uh, Wheeler Yuta, and Gabe Kidd, took on the Ops, which is Katsuyori Shibata, Samoa Joe, and Powerhouse Hobbs. Great opener for All In, man. It was really chaotic. Wheeler Yuta ended up taking the brunt of the punishment, and the Ops ended up picking up the win to retain the AEW Trios Championships. That wouldn't be the last time we would see the Ops and the Death Riders at All In Texas, but we will get to that a little bit later on. Next up was the Men's Casino Gauntlet. So the rules of this gauntlet are, you have a bunch of participants come in, but anytime somebody gets a pinfall, that's it. The match is over. So you can have one person in there. You can have 4 people in there, but if somebody gets the pinfall before the next person gets to the ring, it's over. So yeah, you gotta be. That's a unique matchup, and you gotta keep your head on a swivel at all times, man. Some of the participants were MJF, Mark Briscoe, Ricochet, returning Juice Robinson. Oh man, you had who else was in there? Anthony Bowens. I can't remember the rest, but I do know that MJF ended up picking up the win and ended up earning himself a future AEW World Championship shot. And we'll get to the AEW World Championship a little bit later on. Next up was a very, very heartfelt message from former TNT champion Adam Cole. He was supposed to defend the TNT Championship against Kyle Fletcher this past Saturday at All In, but unfortunately he ended up not feeling well. I think he's suffering from concussion symptoms or something of the sort. But he came out with a very heartfelt message, and Adam Cole has been very, very injury ridden over the past couple of years, man, and it's just so heartbreaking to see, man. I know how that feels, man, to wanna wrestle, and you can't because of injuries, but hopefully this isn't the end for Adam Cole. Hopefully he comes back and better than ever. But if it is the end, Adam Cole had a hell of a career, man. Very, very heartfelt message. He thanked the fans, and he was in tears, and it was just a real, genuine, emotional moment. But as they say, the show must go on. So with Adam Cole vacating the TNT Championship, it was time to crown a new championship, and it was a fatal 4-way match. You had Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia, Dustin Rhodes, and Kyle Fletcher, all fighting for the vacant TNT Championship. Jumping all over my words here, but we'll get on that. Anyway, but congratulations to Dustin Rhodes, man. On winning the TNT Championship. He is also one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions with an opponent in this match, Sammy Guevara, and he is 1/3 of the Ring of Honor 6-man Tag Team Champions with the Sons of Texas. So Ross and Marshall Von Erich. So, Dustin Rhodes is collecting belts, and it's so nice to see him finally get the due that he deserves. Oh man, I feel like for the majority of his career, his almost 6 decade career, he's been so underrated and so underutilized, and he's contributed so much to the business and gone through so much, and it's so nice to see him bounce back from everything and go on this see this run that he's been on. It's absolutely wonderful. Um, so shout out to Dustin Rhodes. Next up we have the AEW. Next up we had Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. Taking on the Young Bucks, and there was some huge stakes involved in this match. The stakes were if the Young Bucks won, that neither Swerve Strickland or Will Ospreay could challenge for the AEW Championship for the next year, and if the Young Bucks were to lose, they would give up their executive vice president titles. So they are the EVPs of AEW, and I'm pretty sure that's only in storyline that they're going to give up their a, executive vice president roles. Still, they're going to be the EVPs. You just won't see them on TV anymore in that role. But man, what a masterclass in tag team wrestling this was, man! Back and forth, back and forth, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the amazing entrance that both Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland got. Will Ospreay, came out to an Assassin's Creed inspired entrance, and then Swerve Strickland came out to JoJo Offerman, the widow of the late great Bray Wyatt, singing his old theme that he used on the Indies, which was "Ain't Nobody but Shaka Khan." She did a rousing rendition of it, JoJo, and it was a really cool touch to see the fireflies in a tribute to Bray Wyatt in the background as she sang. So that was really really cool. But again, a masterclass in pro wrestling. These four men went back and forth, left it all on the line, and in the end, Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay ended up picking up the win. So now the Young Bucks are no longer the EVPs on television. Next up, we had the women's Casino Gauntlet. Same concept here as the men's. Women were the women were in there, and they were fighting for a future AEW Women's World Championship match. So in that matchup, you had Megan Bayne and Chris Statlander going in at 1 and 2 respectively, and then you also had Alex Windsor, the AEW making her AEW debut, and also Shuri from Japan, very very good women's wrestler from Japan, one of the best in the world, as a matter of fact. You also had uh, who else was in there? Queen Amanada, Penelope Ford, a Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena, and so many more women were in there. And speaking of Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena, she ended up winning the Women's Casino Gauntlet, and she now has a future AEW Women's World Title shot against. Well, we're gonna get to the results of the AEW Women's World Championship match in a second, but yeah, shout out to Athena, man. Longest reigning champion anywhere. I believe she's been the the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion for close to 3 years now, or if she's not at the 3 year mark already. Um, so unbelievable run run by her. Next up was the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Uh, that was the patriarchy consisting of Nick Wayne and Christian Cage, and then you also had Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, and then you had the Hurt Business also. Um, you had the Hurt Business also in the Hurt Syndicate. I'm sorry, the Hurt Syndicate consisting of Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. And Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley went in there as champs, and they came out as champs. They walked out as champs. So one interesting thing to note in this match, after the match, Nick Wayne, who is part of the patriarchy, ended up turning on his father, so to speak, Christian Cage, man, and uh, Nick Wayne gave Christian a concerto, and FTR had come out and were gonna do more damage to Christian, but an unlikely former ally made the save in the form of Adam Copeland, man, aka Cope, formerly known as Edge. So we may see an Edge and Christian reunion down the line in AEW, and that's gonna be pretty damn cool if we do get that. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see where things go from there. Um, next up, we had speaking of the AEW Women's World Championship, which I just mentioned. It was Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm, the champion, taking on the challenger and winner of the Women's On Heart Cup, Mercedes Moné. Man, what a great match these two women had. There was a lot of great wrestling, but also Tony Storm who's known for her shenanigans sometimes in matches. That was pretty cool. You gotta watch the replay to see what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, so what do you call it? Like I said, great match between these two women, and Tony Storm giving Mercedes Moné her first loss in AEW ever since dating back to when she debuted last year. So very, very huge moment for Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné. And speaking of, I hope Mercedes is okay. She looked like she appeared to have been injured during the match. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but she did have to have some help afterwards getting to the back. But hopefully she's okay, and major props to both of those incredible performers. And next up was the the first of the double main event, for the AEW Unified Championship, which unified the AEW Continental Champion and the Continental Championship and the AEW International Championship all into one championship, and the men fighting for this prestigious honor, two of the very best in the industry ever, and these two had a long rivalry going back to 2018, and of course I'm talking 2017, excuse me, and I'm talking about Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. If you haven't seen any of their matches in Japan, I suggest you highly seek them out online. Very classic matches, some of the best professional wrestling ever. Just not just in Japan or the United States. I'm talking about ever. So yeah, and this match did not disappoint either. Lots of back and forth. Lots of back and forth between Okada and Omega. They know each other so well. Of course, Kenny Omega had Kazuchika Okada pinned on several instances, but Don Callis got involved and cost Kenny Omega the matchup, and essentially helped Kazuchika Okada win the AEW Unified Championship, which you can't go wrong with either of these two, man. Like I said, Okada, one of the best in the world, and Kenny Omega, same thing goes for him. And Kenny Omega also had a cool entrance. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. And after that, it was time for the main event, man. The Texas Death Match for the AEW World Championship. Hangman Page, the winner of the Owen Hart Men's Tournament, taking on John Moxley, man. The only what is it? Four-time AEW World Champion, man. John has been on a hell of a run as on this championship, and he's essentially held the title hostage because it's been in a suitcase, and he hasn't been wearing it around his waist. So every time he's had to defend it, he just gives the suitcase to the referee, which is held by Marina Shafir, otherwise of the Death Rider. So yeah. So man, you want to talk about a war that had all kinds of interference, man, from the Ops to Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, returning Darby Allin, even Bryan Danielson wearing a Blue Panther mask got involved, and in the end, Hangman Adam Page lived up to his name by hanging John Moxley over the rope and essentially choking him out, causing John to tap out. And Hangman Page is now a two-time AEW World Champion, man. It'll be interesting to see where AEW goes from here and what the plans are, but I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to all of it, and that was all in Texas. Like I said, a 5-hour pay-per-view and then a 2-hour pre-show. So you were looking at 7 hours of wrestling just from one company, and they delivered. They delivered like they always do on pay-per-view. But anyway, yeah, that is gonna do it for this episode of the Classic Chronicles. Like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And I, of course, will see you guys on the next one. Peace.